What's up guys, it's Dahl, and today I'm coming to you from Mikado Model Helicopters, and in this video I'm going to be showing you how to get rid of any wobbles, bobbles, and oscillations on your Logo 200 with one fix that takes less than 10 seconds to do. Let's get into it. If you own a Logo 200, you may have noticed that at some points the model can get into these little oscillations. Now, this can be caused by certain RPMs, which put it into an oscillation zone. I've even seen people who use a different battery that's a little heavier. It changes the CG, and this actually induces an oscillation. It can depend on ambient air temperature, a number of factors that can cause these little oscillations and vibrations. Let me show you what one of these oscillations looks like. I'm going to start off in 3900 RPM, and you'll see that the model is really smooth. Quite smooth, yeah? If I go up to 4140 RPM, just a few hundred more, check out what it looks like. $3,900, 4140. These are the oscillations that I'm talking about. Until now, what we recommended customers do is just tune around these RPM ranges that you get into these oscillations in. But we found that there's one change that you can make which will get rid of essentially all of these oscillations at any RPM. And it has to do with just the tightness of the blades. Blades need to be able to pivot so that they can lead and lag in flight. Why is a topic for another day. I'm not going to give you an aerodynamics lesson now. But essentially the point of what I'm trying to say is that the blades on the Logo 200 are very, very light. They weigh at only 8 grams each. Most of us are used to setting the rotor blade tightness on our larger helicopters, which can be set quite tight. But if you use that same mentality on your Logo 200 and you set the blades so tight, it will have these oscillations which you saw before. So long story short, if you're having these oscillations with your Logo 200, simply loosen the rotor blades. Too tight of a rotor blade can cause these oscillations at certain RPMs. If your blades are too loose, I would say there's less side effects of that than having them overly tight. But if they're too loose, it can cause some flutter and other things like this. So now I'm going to show you how I set the proper rotor blade tightness for my Logo 200. The simple way that I do this is to just rotate the helicopter on the side and then kind of do little drops like this. And what I want is that the blades will stay perfectly level like this if I'm on the side, but if I do a gentle drop like this, they should bend down to around this angle. That means that it's at the right tension where the blade is not too loose, but also it's not too tight. So let me show you what that looks like. Right now, obviously these blades are too tight. I can't do it at all. If I get my tools and I start adjusting, I'm going to make these really loose at the start. You'll see that if I hold it on its side, the blades just fall. You don't want this, it means it's too loose. What you want is a tension where the blades will hold themselves under their own weight when you put the helicopter on its side, but you want that they can fall freely if you drop the helicopter down. Let's try this. So now you see, okay, this blade is too loose. So I'll tighten that up a little bit. And this is quite a minor adjustment. I mean, even less than 1/8 of a rotation can make or break it. So now the blades stay level. If I bring it down, they fall. You see that this blade falls a little bit more than this one. So I'm gonna loosen up this back blade. And this was a very minor adjustment. I only rotated the driver a few degrees. So let's try again. There we go. You see that the blades can hold themselves up under their own weight, but if I drop it down, they both angle down around this degree. So let's try this out. So you saw before what the helicopter was doing at around the 4140 RPM. So I'm gonna go to that same RPM and let's see the difference. Much better. There's the low RPM, lower RPM, So you can see it's much smoother at that, even at that 4140 RPM. Just for comparison, I'm going to tighten these blades back up to a tension similar to what I would use like on my larger helicopters, so you can see just the difference. Now you see the blades don't fall down at all. Let's compare what happens now. So there you have it. It's pretty apparent the difference between running a looser blade and a tighter blade. So just keep that in mind the next time you're adjusting the tension on your Logo 200 rotor blades. Make sure you keep them loose, a little bit looser, so that they hold themselves out like this, but if you drop down, they will fall down a little bit. It's one little minor adjustment which has drastic effects to the flight performance of the model. I hope this helps some of you with the tuning of your Logo 200 and helps you get rid of those pesky oscillations and wobbles that you may have been experiencing. I'm going to go ahead and loosen the blades back up on the model and then go and finish my flight.